I'm concerned that this is examination.
Today we're going to be testing how British you are, and you're going to be taking the British Citizenship test to find out how British you really are.
Just tell you in advance, it's not very British.
There's 40 questions. You need at least 75 correct to pass. If you fail, we're passing on your details to Priti Patel and you'll be out by the end of the day.
I'll be in Rwanda.
It's hard to imagine a more British week than the current one. And, well, I'm pretty British. At least my passport says so. So let's test that. Because tons of people who want to become British citizens have to take a test to check if they're sufficiently British. So, if we expect other people to be able to answer these questions in order to qualify as British enough, then do native citizens know the answers? Well, I took the test, as did some of Team TLDR, and we'll find out if we'd actually be allowed in. Before I actually sit down and take the test, I'll quickly explain how it works. Generally speaking, there are 3 routes to get British citizenship. By birth, by registration, and by naturalisation. By birth is pretty self-explanatory. It's just that most people who are born in the UK will get citizenship automatically by virtue of being born here. Registration is slightly more complex. If you're born in the UK but you don't qualify, you can register to become British, with the easiest path being if you lived in the country from birth to age 10. Then there's naturalisation, which is what most people think of when they imagine becoming British, and typically requires that you've lived in the UK for a minimum of 5 years, that you can prove you're of good character, can communicate in English to an acceptable level, and crucially, for the purposes of this video, have sufficient knowledge about life in the UK. And that's something you're able to prove via the Life in the UK test. This test consists of 24 questions about the UK, taken from 5 different categories. And to pass, you need to get at least 75% of them right, or 18 questions. Now, what's actually in the test? Well, fortunately, I have this little book, which kindly tells me that the 5 chapters of British life are values and principles, the UK, a long and illustrious history, a modern thriving society, and government, the law, and your role. But what's actually in those chapters? What do you need to know to be British? Well, let's get into it. Let's take the test. In this video, you're going to see an abridged version of me taking the test. But if you want to see the whole team attempt it, and trust me, you do, then that's in the extended version of this video.
You see, this is difficult.
I mean, the answer is true, isn't it? But it's just not true.
I have no idea who can vote in our elections. It might be true.
It's where we fall down.
Probably... I don't know, actually.
Start what? Start as rain?
Yeah.
Just no clue. I just don't care. This sort of stuff is so it's completely irrelevant.
Dame Ellen MacArthur.
I'm going to go with Francis Drake.
MacArthur. Dame Ellen MacArthur.
Francis Drake, but... I mean, the answer is true, isn't it? But it's just not true.
Who knows that? Who actually knows that?
That is a bizarre question. Why is that important to get citizenship?
That's a 40-minute long video full of anger, hilarity, and questions. In fact, we run through every single question there, so you can even play along and see how you'll do. Want to watch that video? Well, it's exclusively available on our streaming service, Nebula. You've likely heard of them before, so I'll keep it quick. But Nebula is the streaming service we made with all of your favorite educational creators, where we post exclusive videos like this one, as well as a bunch of other full-length explainers, the extended daily briefing every single day, and even our full office tour. Plus, all of our content is available there ad-free. Every single recent video. If you do want to sign up, you'll want to use the link below and get the Nebula Curiosity Stream bundle deal. Here's how it works. If you sign up to Curiosity Stream, home to the best documentaries online, then you'll also get Nebula included absolutely free. That means it's less than $15 a year for both services. Curiosity Stream for the high-quality documentaries, and Nebula for bonus TLDR, including the extended version of this video. Okay, I can't put off the exam any longer. Let's get going. Instead of doing the standard test, ours is slightly modified. It's long and boring to explain why, and you can pause right now if you care. But essentially, instead of doing 24 questions, I'm doing 37, and therefore the pass rate is 27.75 marks. Anyway, here's me attempting the test, with a few bonus moments from the rest of the team sprinkled in for fun.
Section 1. Values and principles of the UK. What does the UK offer to its permanent residents or citizens?
I mean, some of these would be great options. Free access to all museums would be lovely.
The right to join the election of a government, right? Surely.
Which two of the following responsibilities will you have as a permanent resident or citizen of the UK?
So, I mean, some of these you should be able to guess in advance because the other options are ridiculous.
So it's obviously respect and obey the law. It's not going to church. It's not military service. So process of a limb. I mean, also you should look after the environment, but I'm not sure everyone does.
Which of the following is not a fundamental principle of British life?
So which of these isn't? Got to be autocracy.
I'm pretty sure we don't live in autocracy.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What do you need to apply to become a permanent resident or citizen of the UK? Choose two options.
It's obviously not a university degree. You don't need that to be able to come here. A good understanding of the UK, it's got to be because I'm doing this test. Otherwise, what's the point? Then it's driving license or being able to speak English. Non-drivers can come here, so being able to speak English, I guess.
True or false? Participation in community life is a fundamental principle of British life. That is not... It's not an objective question, is it?
I don't even know what a fundamental principle is. Is that like a rule or just like a culture thing?
It's got to be true, right? I think that a lot of people don't necessarily participate in community life, but I mean, they're not going to say that it's not true in the quiz, surely. We're making Britain seem good here.
In which of the following languages is the Life in the UK test not available?
It's got to be French, right?
In the UK, you are expected to respect the rights of others to have their own opinions.
True or false? Got to be true. Easy.
True or false? If you're a Commonwealth citizen living in the UK, you can vote in all public elections. Oh, you see, this is difficult.
Can you as a Commonwealth citizen?
I have no idea. I have no idea who can vote in our elections.
I guess not. It's got to be no, right? Because otherwise you just have a bunch of Australians turning up and voting.
Section 2. What is the UK? Which two islands are closely linked to the UK but are not part of it?
I mean, Fiji is definitely not linked with it.
Probably not Fiji,
Fiji?
which is a shame because it'd be nice.
It might be in the Commonwealth. I think it is because I'm pretty sure it's got the Union Jack on the flag. Malta's also just a sovereign state, so and also not that close. So Isle of Man and Channel Islands.
Which of the following territories does not belong to Great Britain?
I think this is meant to be kind of a trick because they're all part of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland isn't part of Great Britain, though.
Where is the Parliament of the UK located?
It's obviously Westminster. Easy.
Which of the following are Crown dependencies?
Crown dependencies.
Crown dependencies.
So I think it's got to be Isle of Man and the Channel Islands.
True or false? St Helena is a British overseas territory.
It certainly sounds like it could be. I'm going true, but just because it sounds right.
Section 3. A long and illustrious history. Which British Prime Minister led the Conservative government from 1979 to 1990?
It is Thatcher.
What British discovery was influential in the development of computer science and the modern-day computer?
I don't know if all of these are even British. They could be, but I'm pretty sure the answer is the Turing machine because it's the only one that's really got any relevance to computing.
When did Henry VIII start reigning?
I have literally no idea. It could be any of these.
Well, they've actually done dates that are quite close here.
So you can't even really make an educated guess.
I think the Tudors were the 16th century, which means that it's going to be 15 something.
Start what? Start his reign?
Yeah.
Oh, just no clue. I just don't care. This sort of stuff is so it's completely irrelevant.
But it's between 1509 and 1515, and literally who knows? I'm going 1515 because I like the symmetry of the number.
The settlements of Scottish and English Protestants in Ulster during the reigns of Elizabeth I and James I, who took over the land from the Catholic landholders, is known as...
That is an impossibly long and difficult question to read, but I think I'm going Puritans, but not... I think it's Puritans. I'm going Puritans.
Which British explorer mapped the coast of Australia?
The answer to this is easy, for me at least. It's Captain James Cook. But I only know that because my family live near a Cook Memorial in Yorkshire, and they talk about him a lot. I don't know if he's from Yorkshire. I think he must be. They love him either way. I'm pretty sure it's him. I've certainly never heard of the first two, so...
What name is given to the period in the 18th century when new ideas about politics, philosophy and science were developed?
I think the Glorious Revolution is made up.
I think it's the Glorious Revolution.
Or if it's not, I'm stupid, but I've never heard of it before. The Elizabethan era is later, I think. The Industrial Revolution isn't totally linked to what was just described, so it's got to be Enlightenment, because that was around like sciences and things, so I think it's that one.
Which was the first major railway built in Britain?
It's not the Elizabeth. It's not the Elizabeth line because it's not an option, and it opened yesterday. I didn't mean to say that even. It's not High Speed 1. I mean, they wouldn't start with High Speed 1 anyway. That's a dumb place to start with trains. Between the others, though, it could be literally any of them.
The Great Western Railway has the best name, the biggest, boldest name. So
I'm going Great Western Railway because I associate them with like Isambard Kingdom Brunel and stuff, and that seems old. So I'm going with that one. Next question, please.
In which battle during the First World War did the British suffer 60,000 casualties on the first day?
I feel like the Somme is famously a pretty brutal one.
Section 4. Modern Thriving Society. Where is the Eden Project located?
I've been. It's in the West Country. It's obviously not Doncaster and Dublin. And now is it in Cornwall or Devon? I don't know. I would have guessed Somerset if I didn't have these options. So not off to a great start. I'm going to go Cornwall because everyone goes on holidays to Cornwall, right? I mean, people like Devon too, but Cornwall's a big tourist place. So if I was building some big old dumb domes in the middle of nowhere, I'd do it in Cornwall.
Who was the first person to sail single-handed around the world without stopping?
I'm pretty sure it's Dame Ellen MacArthur because I think it's relatively recent. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe that's a real red herring. Maybe she did it like quickly or something. But it is Modern and Thriving Society, and Francis Drake has been dead for like 400 years.
Which of the following landmarks is the largest expanse of fresh water in mainland Britain?
Now, the River Thames is a river, so I'm not sure it counts, and it's also not fresh water. It's disgusting old brown water. It's not the Lake District because that's an area. It's not an actual lake. Well, it's multiple lakes, but that can't be the answer. Loch Lomond or Loch Ness. I mean, I've heard of both of them and I've been to one of them.
I feel like the Loch Ness is there just to trick you with the monster stuff.
Loch Ness is very big, so I'm going with that one, but I could be wrong. Sorry, Scotland.
Where does the most famous sailing event in the UK take place?
Oh, no.
My in-laws would kick me for not knowing this.
I don't think it's Holyhead because I don't really know where that is.
Plymouth. I'm putting Plymouth.
I'm going to go with Plymouth. I'm going to say Plymouth because it's wet down there.
Would it happen from like a major port on the south? That makes sense. Or an island also pretty nearby. I'm going Cowes in the Isle of Wight, but not really out of anything.
What is the distance between the north coast of Scotland and the southwest corner of England?
The north coast of Scotland and so like Land's End to John O'Groats, the longest distance in the UK. And I don't even drive, so my concept of how far a mile is not the strongest. I'm going 840 because I feel like it won't be the biggest because they want to be like, or it won't be the smallest because they want to be like, Britain's a big, cool place. But it's not going to be the biggest either. 840.
Who looks after Edinburgh Castle? Who knows that? Who actually knows that?
Literally, who knows? Now, I say who knows, but I think I might actually know. Because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense being in the Scottish Parliament. I don't know who SEPA are. I don't think it's the National Trust because I've been and I don't remember seeing their stuff there. So I think it must be Historic Scotland. But if you hadn't have given that as an option in front of me, I wouldn't have known.
According to the 2011 census, what percentage of the population identifies themselves as Sikh?
I feel like we're bragging here, so it would be the highest number. Do you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't be like, what percentage? 0.1%. The next question is, what percentage identify as white racists?
Now, Sikhs are a real minority in the UK, but I don't think it's 1. 1 feels low, 2 feels high. I think I'm going to go 5, but it could be 8 as well. It's going to be less than 1, I think, though. I'm going 0.5.
Which 2 of the following are famous British artists?
No, it's not D, because Andy Murray is a tennis player, so obviously not. Which of these... So Hockney is, and I don't know who Elgar and Moore are. So I don't think it is... It can't be C, it can't be D. I'm going A, because I've not done that many A's, but I don't know.
Which of the following statements is true?
Gilbert and Sullivan were a comedy double act. Are. Oh no, were. Maybe they're dead. Rest in peace. And Gilbert and Sullivan wrote many comic operas. I have heard of Gilbert and Sullivan. I knew they were like comedy adjacent, so that doesn't really help because they're both comedy related answers. I'm going to go comic operas because the fact I've heard of them, but I don't know any of their work. Like, if they're a comedy double act, surely I would have heard... Like, if they're a comedy double act, famous enough to be in this quiz, surely it would be like Laurel and Hardy or something where I vaguely know who they are. So they must have written comic operas because that could easily have passed me by. So, comic operas.
Section 5. The UK government, the law and your role. Who is the chief officer of the House of Commons?
Archbishop of Canterbury, I doubt it. Could be, though. He does get around. So it's Speaker or PM. I reckon it's Speaker, but that's not a term I was familiar with before.
What does the term Hansard relate to?
And the answer is definitely A.
True or false? Since 1999, hereditary peers have lost the automatic right to attend the House of Lords. They now elect a few from their number to represent them.
So there has been rule changes around hereditary peers and their powers have been limited, but I don't think this is the system. I don't think they vote for ones to represent them. So I'm going false, but I'm not 100% sure and something has changed, so I don't know.
True or false? A husband who forces his wife to have sex can be charged with rape.
Absolutely true. And it's a bit sad we have to include it on this quiz, but I guess it's good to make clear.
When is the electoral register updated?
I'm going to say May or June. I really haven't. That's based on nothing.
How can you visit the Welsh Assembly?
I mean, contacting the Assembly booking service feels too obvious.
Contacting the Assembly booking service. You want to book something at the Assembly, you contact the Assembly booking service.
So I don't think it can be... I mean, if it is that obvious, that's hilarious. Maybe it is that obvious. But that's like asking, how do you go to a theatre? You book a ticket. It's so obvious. I don't feel like you have to contact an MP, or maybe you do. Also, what's an MLA? I'm going to go... Contact an MP, maybe. Maybe you do have to. Contact an MP.
So, bad news. I failed the test. Turns out I really ought to leave the country. To be fair though, it was tougher than I thought, and it turns out the team agreed with me. Here's some of their thoughts on the test itself.
I think I passed. I definitely didn't get full marks, but I think I passed. But I also feel strangely vindicated because of how stupid the test was. So I feel like even if I got 30, if you got 40 on that test, it's actually presaging Ben's success, which is going to off. But if you did get 40 on that test, that's because you're on the same wavelength as a bunch of mugs. So I'm flattered by a sub 40 score.
There were questions in it that I think were written quite badly, and I wouldn't have included. I don't know.
Terrible quiz. Terrible representation of what it means to be a UK citizen, as far as I'm concerned.
Did they pass the test though? Well, you can find out the full results and see all the hilarity of their answers in the extended version available on Nebula. That's a bonus 40 minutes of content ready to watch right now. That's all for YouTube today though. I hope you're feeling very British after all of that and are ready for a long bank holiday weekend of looking at the Queen doing Jubilee things. Anyway, thanks for watching.